Welcome to the HR Happy Hour work break. Steve Bose, are you there?
I'm
I can't
virtually
see
here,
anything.
Trish. I'm virtually here. How about you? I
can't-
cannot see you at the moment because
I
I'm
know
about.
I'm actually in the middle of some virtual training. I've got my remote control here. I'm doing some training. How are you?
I am great. So, just a little shout out to our friends at a great company called Striver, Strivr. Really, the leader in virtual reality and immersive training for all sorts of scenarios and all sorts of use cases. As you can see, they were kind enough to send Trish and myself little demos of the Striver technology. They sent us the headsets,
Right.
and I've just got through the tutorial of getting it started. I'm not quite calibrated correctly because I have to look over that way in order to see what's going on in my VR headset, but it's super fun.
Good.
How
I know.
about
Well,
you?
take it off for now. It's good. I took mine off.
Okay.
I know. So this was funny. Obviously, we always say that we don't plan what we're going to talk about. And so I thought, oh, I bet mine came and his didn't. And so I was pretty sure that I was going to surprise you with having the headset on, and I start it and you've got it on. So that's great.
It's really
I'm
cool. There's like difficult
Isn't it cool?
conversations, inclusive conversations. And then the other set of demos were things like external aircraft inspection, first responder training. There's even a sports module, which I think I'm going to try a little bit later. Super cool though. It's a really cool piece of technology.
I love it. I didn't get that far yet, so you're ahead of me. But yeah, it arrived today.
It took a little doing, I will say this, but I got there.
Look at that. For everyone that can see, it's like a really nice headset and goes over the top of your head. So that's good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, how you been, Trish? I haven't been on the show in a week.
I know. We've been doing great without you.
I'd expect as much.
No, it's been good. You know, we had our friends Ted and Madeline on. We talked about all sorts of different things. I don't know if you had a chance to watch. Tell us. I mean, how was traveling? So you did a business trip. You went to Oklahoma City. How was travel? How was Oklahoma?
Yeah, it was great. I went to visit our friends at Paycom for a day and plus, and had a great time out there. They're always wonderfully welcoming and very hospitable, and had a great time. Recorded 2 podcasts, one for the HR Break Room podcast, which is Paycom's podcast, and one for our show, the HR Happy Hour, which will run soonish. And also did a presentation to their HR team, their internal HR team, because it was a quarterly HR kickoff there as well. So great folks, had a super time. And yeah, it was great. I'm out of practice though.
Are you?
I forgot to pack a couple of things. I just mismanaged the trip a little bit in terms of a logistics standpoint. I waited far too long to attempt to rent a car and learned that was not possible at such a late date. So yeah, it's easy to fall out of practice.
Pay $1 million for it.
I couldn't even get one. I could have offered $1 million. I'm not sure anyone would have taken it.
You know, a lot of people are renting U-Hauls instead. Did you try and go the U-Haul route?
I did not. I went the car service route, which actually was kind of cool. And I thought about it afterwards and said, hey, this is actually the way to travel.
Really? You know, I think you're right about that. And I will say this for any of the people who are watching who are getting ready to start your business travel, be aware that, I mean, that's one of the things Ted and I talked about was taxis and availability in New York City. He said they're hard to find. And, you know, I found the same thing in Chicago. I know LA is experiencing that. So, yeah, I mean, and then if you can get an Uber or a Lyft, then the cost is, you know, 3-4 times higher than what you would expect. And so, yeah, definitely think about car services or any kind of car travel well in advance. You can't just show up any longer and
no, it's not right now anyway. There's still all kinds of crazy shortages too. I was reading some of the Western airports are actually seeing shortages in jet fuel because of just some issues with transportation of truck drivers, but also because they're using a lot of airplane fuel to fight the wildfires for the planes that fly over the fires and drop the fire retardants and whatnot there. So yeah, there's an issue there as well. Speaking of shortage, Trish, I have a labor item shortage nugget I wanted to share for you. And perhaps you saw this. And apologies if you say maybe in Madeline or Ted talked about this. I did not have a chance to watch either of those shows. But Trish, White Castle, our friends at White Castle.
Oh, right.
I love the White Castle slider, right? Who doesn't? Recently, Trish, they quote unquote, they cold emailed and or texted 550,000 past applicants from as far back as
Wow.
2017 to try to see if they were still interested in perhaps working at the White Castle due to persistent staffing shortages in fast food. 550,000. Imagine that you apply for a White Castle job in 2017 and you didn't get hired because these are people who
You
were not
didn't get it.
hired and maybe even got ghosted. I'm not saying the White Castle ghosted anybody. I
Right,
don't know that for
no.
sure, but
They
perhaps he did.
wouldn't.
And then boom, you get a text from them. Hey, still interested in that, line cook job from 2017? So they
I
claim
mean,
that
that's an interesting tactic, right? Did it work? Do
they
we
they
know?
claim White Castle claimed that 32,000 of the 550,000 were still quote unquote interested per the company, but we don't know yet, or maybe we'll ever know how many new hires that turns into. But desperate times, I guess, in some of these industries. Everywhere I went over these last few days being on the road, everywhere's a stretch, but almost everywhere seemed like it had a hiring sign on the door, no matter what
Did
it
it
was.
really? Okay.
Hotels, in the airport, some places,
Oh, and hospitality,
restaurants.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere it's hiring. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's good. I'd be interested to if I hope we hear a follow-up. I know sometimes you'll follow those things through. So,
Keep an
yeah,
eye on
I
it.
mean, I'd love to hear if they think that was worth it. I mean, I guess why not, right? You've got those
Sure.
people in your applicant tracking system. You've got their information. I'm sure there was some percentage that was, just maybe not at the same phone number or contact information or
Right.
whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if you get 32,000 that are still potentially interested, and did you say that did it report how many jobs they had open or no?
I didn't take a note of that,
Okay. Okay.
but it's a national kind. It was a national effort right across
Okay.
the entire footprint of White Castle, as far as they go. Yeah.
You know what? You gotta get creative right now, and that's just a good example. I wonder too if they're gonna, like, partner that with any sort of, like, say you had gone to another fast food or restaurant type, position, are they trying to do anything to entice them too? Like, "Oh, not only are we contacting you, but we'll give you a bonus or a whatever." So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I mean bonuses
we've
and
talked about that.
both hiring bonuses and kind of retention bonuses are a thing that's
Mhm.
happening across all kinds of industries that never would have had them before, for sure. Yeah, so
Right.
organizations are pulling out all the stops that they can to try to get folks interested in the open opportunities that they have.
Yeah. Well, good. Good stuff. So what else? What else is new this week? Do you have a busy week this week? I have a feeling with HR tech like looming on the horizon, you're going to
Yeah,
see
lots to do with HR tech. We're still finishing tons of demos and getting ready for top HR products of the year, and kind of just, yeah, it's a grind for sure. And we've got a lot going on too, right? We were analyzing the results of our recent survey, which closed, and we've got reports to write on that pretty soon. And yeah, it's in shows to do. I think we're recording a couple shows this week, or at least one. We have one dropping tomorrow that we did about upskilling and reskilling with one of the leaders over at Amazon Web Services,
Oh,
who's
that was so
doing
good.
huge retraining efforts for
Yeah.
free, training up to 29 million workers, I think he said, for free over the next several years in various technical skills to try to help them get employed.
Yeah, I was going to say, please, if you are looking for work, if you're looking to change jobs or even consider training to change jobs, or someone, please, please, please listen to this specific episode because you're going to get a ton of opportunities to have some free training, like Steve said. So,
Yeah, I got one more interesting one sort of on the jobs front I'll share. It's not
okay.
directly related to jobs, but I didn't read the full article yet, but it was published in the Scientific American very recently,
Love
maybe
that
even
magazine.
today, Trish. But the study is all about how women see, quote unquote, or exposed to. I'm talking about digital impressions, right? So basically on online advertising, women
Right.
see fewer ads for STEM jobs, right? The
Oh,
STEM field jobs. They see fewer of those ads due to the algorithms that run those ads and who they're served to. And here's the reason I never would have guessed this, Trish. Serving ads and targeting ads to men and getting impressions from men on ads on places like Google, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it's cheaper to put ads in front of men than it is to women.
wow.
Sometimes much cheaper. Like on a service like Instagram, it costs something like $1.74 to get women impressions and
Right.
like 99 cents for men. And every platform is kind of the same, right? And so the
Right.
algorithms are often designed to cut costs and provide the most bang for the buck, right? The most impressions at the least cost level. So they skew and they show these ads more to men than to women because it's cheaper to do so. How about that?
Why is that cheaper? That I don't
The
understand.
the theory was that, or maybe it's not just a theory, it's true, is that women tend to hold more purchasing power in the household than men do. They make more
Okay.
purchasing decisions.
Oh,
So
so it's more expensive.
so generally speaking, serving ads to women is more expensive than to men because they're a more sought after audience online. So there you go. How about that?
Wow.
How about unintended consequences in action, right? Like trying to cut costs in an algorithm, and now these jobs are being shown more to men than to women.
And here we are trying to reduce bias. We're trying to right? Every single vendor is creating artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms that will like combat all of that for an organization, but yet your advertising dollars on a social media platform,
Yeah, and I
you're
don't
not
think anybody's intentionally.
sabotaging
Yeah,
your entire process.
I don't think anybody's intentionally trying to do that, but it's an unintended outcome
Yeah.
of certain other decisions that are made around the design of certain algorithms. So yeah, I'll find a link to it and tweet it out later, or maybe we'll write
Yeah,
something
tweet
about it
that
on the
out.
site or something. It's a super interesting thing. So yeah, there you go.
Interesting stuff today. Look at you
Look at
coming
me.
in hot on a Monday.
Right.
All
All right.
right,
Are
all
we
right.
done?
Looks
Because I
like
got to get back to learning how to service the outside of an aircraft. So
I
I can do that.
cannot
I
wait
can
to get
I can
into
do
this.
that with this
You can
headset.
do that with your.
So we'll
I'll have
see.
to tell you what. We need to actually, after we both go through some training, I want to do a podcast or have them on the work break or something and actually talk a little bit about it and what we think about it because I'm anxious to try it. I don't know about you. I've done like VR stuff at home with like Beat Saber. Have you done Beat Saber or one of the
I have not.
games? Oh my gosh. I jump around like a crazy person. Like I think you're supposed to just kind of stand still and do
I
it.
don't need any special technology to jump
I
around
have
like
to tell
a
you,
crazy
I'm a
person.
little nervous if I'm like virtually trying to, would you say service an aircraft of some sort?
Mm-hmm.
Um, am I gonna jump around? Am I gonna like be moving around my room
I
like
don't
it's
think that's
really an
part of that
aircraft in
job,
there?
probably, but yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, all right. Well, we'll test it out. Thanks everyone for coming in with us a little bit later than normal on a Monday. Totally, because we're completely busy. We may have to just do this when we can, right? But anyway, looking forward to a good week ahead. We will see you back here on Wednesday with more great info. Like Steve said, check out the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And we also not only have a new HR Happy Hour, we have a new-ish from last week, Inclusion Crusade
That's
from our
true.
friend Sarah Morgan. So be sure and check out her episode as well. And we will see you here on Wednesday.